What's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Olivia. I've been posting so many vlogs lately that I just feel like it was kind of time to do a sit down video. I just was feeling like doing one. So here we are. I knew that I wanted to film this video. I knew I was going to film this video once I felt like I got far along enough with my recovery. And I just feel like I need to tell you guys that last night I actually got my third consecutive period in a row. So I was like, you know what? It's a sign, we're doing it. Once I knew that this was a thing and I was like, I'm going to cure myself naturally. I was like, when I get my third period, it just felt like that was gonna be the promised land, like just a gateway to heaven was gonna open up. Something about the third period, like the third consecutive one, I was like, that's how I know I've made it. I could be being naive, but that's how I feel right now. So I just am like, I'm just happy. I'm feeling excited and I wanna give myself a hug. I just feel like it was a sign to make this video. So I've already made a few videos basically about how I've changed my eating to naturally cure my HA, and so now I want to do one of how I manipulated my exercise in order to naturally recover from HA. So I'm going to share with you guys how I used to train when I was kind of in the heat of suffering from HA, as well as what training habits I got rid of, and then what I kept and why I kept those training patterns throughout my road to recovery. So before I get into all of this, I just want to do a little debriefing. I just know that HA can be a sensitive topic because it's just such a wide range of people struggle with HA. You know, some people have eating disorders, some people have like exercise addiction, some people have overtraining syndrome, yet there's also some people who just simply so happen to kind of overdo it. So it just really depends on where you are on the spectrum. So please take what I say with a grain of salt depending on your own personal situation, and also take advice from professionals or your doctors who know your specific situation. Because for some people, absolutely no exercise is the best method for recovery, both physically and also for your mental state and your relationship with exercise. So it completely depends. For me, I personally do have a good relationship with food and with exercise. I just kind of unintentionally got to a point where my nutrition and exercise got out of balance. For me, I knew that cutting out exercise completely for recovery wasn't the healthiest option for me, not only for my physical, but also for my mental. So I knew that I personally, in my situation, just kind of need to pull back the throttle a little bit, just take the foot off the gas with my training. So with all that being said, I'm going to share with you guys how I used to train. So my workout split in the heat of the summer when I was like going at it at my fitness routine. I loved it though, you guys. Like I don't know, I was just feeling so motivated. It was after I was studying abroad in Spain. It was like in the heat of quarantine, so I was like, what else is there to do? And like my passion is fitness, so I was like, heck yeah, let's like crush some goals and see how much progress I can make and how far I can push my body and like elevate my physique. So I trained 6 days a week during this time, and basically I split my workout split into 2 lower body days, and then I did 1 to 2 upper body days that were kind of push and pull focused, and then I did 1 full body circuit day, which wasn't like circuit like with stationary strength training movements. It was more like functional training. So with like burpees, it would be like a reverse lunge to a curl, toe taps, like mountain climbers to a press, like more functional movements to help with kind of my athleticism and also my cardiovascular health. And then my 6th day was like a hit and abs day, so it consisted of like a 20-minute, like usually just body weight hit session. And then I actually road biked for like a period of like 6 weeks, so it was more endurance training. I would go for like 40-45 minute rides, and I usually would pair that on one of my upper body days. And then on top of all of that, I would go for like a 45 to a 1 hour walk every single day, pretty much almost 7 days a week. My step count was anywhere from like 8,000 to 13,000 steps a day. Sometimes 15 if I was just like on one that day. This was a really big question of like what I had to get rid of, especially if I had to get rid of HIIT training in order to recover. So what I removed from my training routine was, one, the first thing that I removed was my HIIT training. I also took away the endurance training, so I stopped road biking, which I'm gonna be honest, that kind of was stopped even before then. I only did it for like 6 to 8 weeks. I kind of like ended up getting over it, but I just made sure that I didn't really go back to doing that. I also took out 1 of the upper body days, and I also brought down my steps a little bit. So I went down to like 4 total training days from 6. So you're like, okay, yo, if you got rid of that, what did you keep doing? I, of course, had to keep my 2 lower body days because, you guys, that I feel like I would say I am addicted to leg day. I wouldn't say I'm like have exercise addiction, but like I can't go without a leg day. Like I needed those 2. I needed both of them. I couldn't ditch one, I needed both. So I kept both of them. However, I kind of, again, took back the intensity a little bit. I definitely like to lift very heavy on leg days, but I kind of scaled that back, stayed more in like the 12 to 15 rep range, and instead of doing like 6 to 8 exercises, I stuck with like 4 to 6 exercises instead. I kept one upper body day, but it was like full upper body instead of like splitting it in between into like 2 push and pull days. And then my 4th day, believe it or not, actually still was my full body circuit day. So that was a form of cardio that I still was able to keep. And then I also kept like 30-minute walks, probably about like 5 to 6 days a week. So I went down to like 4 total training days, 3 strength training days, and then I kept my walks, but about like 5 to 6 days a week for 30-ish minutes. So why did I decide to keep the training days that I did? First and foremost, strength training and walking are actually like the 2 best forms of exercise that you can do during recovery. Now, when I was like researching like a maniac, when I first like knew that I had this, I was researching a ton, and this is what I found. So the reason why strength training and walking are both phenomenal for recovery is because they both enable the parasympathetic nervous system to kick in. So you have your parasympathetic nervous system, and then you also have your sympathetic nervous system. And your parasympathetic nervous system, say that 10 times fast, holy, I just got out of breath. Anyway, that is what relaxes your body and kind of encourages your body to be in more of a rested, relaxed state. Whereas the sympathetic nervous system, that's what engages and turns on when you're in a state of high stress, when you're in states of high intensity, etc. So as you know, with HA, the whole issue is that our bodies are in a very stressed state. So we want to do what we can to relax our body and therefore trigger the parasympathetic. See, I knew it was going to happen. Therefore, trigger the parasympathetic nervous system to help our bodies to do that, to relax. So touching base on walking, that is actually one of the only forms of exercise that simultaneously relaxes the body at the same time due to that parasympathetic recruitment, like I just said. Definitely 100% incorporate walking. And then the reason why strength training does that as well is because, like, if you think about it, the rest times in between your sets, that portion of like the movement and then the rest period, that kind of like repetition helps like encourage the parasympathetic nervous system to keep triggering and firing. Strength training just offers more moderate intensity movement while also allowing that parasympathetic nervous system to kick in during your rest times. And then the reason why I kept my full body circuit days is simply just because I personally really just wanted to make gradual changes, and I knew that I didn't want to go to having a pretty good amount, a high amount of cardio to absolutely none, very, very drastically. So my strategy was just kind of tapering off my exercise. Like I said, I didn't want to cut out cardio completely when I had been doing so much. So I just kind of like decreased it a little bit to help make more of a subtle shift instead of such a drastic change. So all in all, like, definitely my biggest recommendation when you are trying to make a change in your workout regimen, again, considering if you're not on like a really extreme part of the spectrum, if you kind of have a situation that's similar to mine, then I definitely 100% recommend doing more gradual changes. To help like minimize the shock on your body, just like big sharp changes in general, like that is a stress on the body, which is also what we don't want. And also like the subtle decrease of exercise while subtly increasing your calories will help to minimize fat gain, which I know is not the main intention or goal with this. Like, our main goal is our internal health and hormonal restoration, but at the same time, like, you can do that without needing to put on a ton of unnecessary fat, like I just said. So it allows like your body to kind of become accustomed gradually to the new regimen and the new routine. And then also, I of course just recommend being patient and being super, super consistent. All love to my family and friends, and they definitely were so supportive to me and for me during this whole process. But being completely honest, like, they're definitely, in the beginning, they weren't solely convinced that I could do this completely naturally. They were an advocate for just some, like, a little bit of hormonal therapy just to help like kickstart my hormones, to get everything flowing and to have a period. And just like in my gut, I knew I didn't want to do that, and I knew that I didn't need to do that, and that I could do this naturally by myself, just healing my body internally from the inside out. And so that's what I did. So I just want to be like a living example for you guys that like you can do it. And if you do want to heal naturally and your family isn't, or friends aren't completely like supportive, just know that like I believe in you, and I am living proof that it is possible. And I know that you can do it with time, with patience, and with proper protocols that honor your body. I'm definitely planning on I have a lot of ideas for making more videos about HA and my recovery and just documenting my process. So if you want to see more of that, definitely subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really mean it. I'm sending you guys so much love, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video, which is next Sunday. Peace out.